You know, on Pixel Plus Hockey, the one thing that you guys will always hear me say is that I love a two-way player that can score and that can add offense at the same time. I truly do believe that these players are generally the most impactful in the playoffs because they just don't go one way. I think that offense only players are, they're very important and they can be used and scoring is very hard, but I think a defensive acumen is always going to be the most important. And this is why this relates back to the Flames, because they have one player that, while he may have injury issues, I very much like. And we're going to be talking about that in today's video and his new contract and other Flame stuff. But guys, welcome back to Pixel Plus Hockey. If you could make sure to hit that subscribe button, it would be so greatly appreciated. And thank you so much to those that are already supporting me as well. So as I was saying, the main thing that I really like about Connor Zary isn't necessarily how high-end he is, although obviously, if he's a 100-point player, I'm going to love that. Some players are just so good at, scoring 100 points, but also being elite defensively. When it comes to Connor Zary, he has a really good defensive acumen, and he has a knack for scoring, especially when the Flames drafted him later on in the first round. That was just an excellent pick, and we do have the contract here, which is really, really good in my opinion. And there's a couple of things that I really like about the actual term and the dollars as well. So I predicted that it was going to be 3 years at 3.5. So it ended up being 3.775 million for 3 years, and it's the best thing about this is the expiry status is RFA. So this contract, according to Puckpedia, expires in 2028 when Connor Zary is 26 years old. I'll tell you why this is important. I really don't like when teams walk players right to unrestricted free agency. I don't know about you guys, I just hate that. It puts the team in a weird position. Let's say Connor Zary has three unbelievable seasons. 60 points, 55 points, 70 points, boom, boom, boom. Three really good seasons. And he's not injury plagued. You're kind of putting the team in a position where it's you better give this guy whatever you want. Now his expiry status is RFA. He is still restricted, and it puts the power in the team's hand. That's one thing that I haven't heard talked about that I really, really like about this contract, and it being 3 years. Honestly, I was just kind of worried that they were going to walk him right to unrestricted free agency, so I don't know. I'm just not really a big fan of that, in my opinion. If you look down in his contract too, it does not look like he has any trade protection or clauses. This is actually generally pretty normal for a contract, just because, he's an RFA. It's funny though. Whenever the Maple Leafs sign a player that's an RFA, all of a sudden the guy gets a bunch of clauses, and I'm like, dude, he was a restricted free agent. If he doesn't want to sign what you want him to, let him sit, right? Now, I understand that I go back and forth on that. I don't want players to sit, but you got to use your leverage, and it's good to see that he doesn't have any clauses, whereas, if it's not working out, the Flames can move on from the player. Obviously, I'm a pretty big fan of Connor Zary. If he's healthy, I'm a big fan of him. I really like how he plays, but it's good to see that he doesn't have actual clauses in his contract right now. I'm not going to say that this was the major opinion in Flames Nation, but the one thing that I noticed is there was a portion of Flames fans that were ready to just move on from Connor Zary. And I don't know, man, I'm sitting here just saying, why? Why? You know what I mean? He's in his early 20s. He has a lot of potential. Yes, I know he's, a little bit, he's had some injuries and whatnot, but I kind of just look at it like you at least got to give this guy a chance. Giving him a chance to me is really, really important. The one thing that I will always be consistent on is if a player has potential, I at least want to see a couple of full seasons from him and say you can get a gauge for what he is. You can get a gauge for, okay, how high in the lineup can this player play? So if you move on from him, you can't say we didn't give him a chance. You know what I mean? There's the worst thing about a player when you just never give him a chance and he turns out to be great for another team. It's just not good. And here we have the J Fresh player card. J Fresh has Connor Zary signed 3 times 3.8 by Calgary as a second line scoring winger who likes to shoot from distance, crash the net, and forecheck, has great hands, and was a lot more active with the puck last season. So I'm going to show the player card now. I want to draw you guys to attention to his projected WAR percentage, 73%. His even strength offense was a little bit low, but he just needs more opportunity there. I want to draw you guys to his even strength defense. Even strength defense is, I mean, he is very, very, very good defensively. A very high finishing percentage, very high goals percentage. So we're looking at a player here with a lot of potential. Obviously, this is all going to be drawn back to his health, right? I understand that it was one season, but it's just, I don't know, man. When forwards get their knees and stuff like that, it does worry me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, I am a little bit worried about Connor Zary's health going forward, but I think that you owe this guy a chance, and I think that you owe this guy a chance to play with some talented players, with the more talented players on Calgary. Maybe he can play on the power play with a Zane Parekh or something like that. Perhaps Parekh could make the team. I want Connor Zary to really get an opportunity is essentially what I'm asking. Question of the video here, guys. What do you think about the contract? Do you think that it should have been shorter? Do you think it should have been longer? Like maybe they should have actually just made like a really big commitment to Connor Zary. I actually was advocating for a 1-year contract. I think that when contract discussions go this far and a player has some injury issues, I'm okay with just a 1-year deal. I'm fine with just a 1-year deal. It ended up being 3. We knew the negotiation was going to be 3, so that's why I picked the median of 3.5. I thought it was going to be 3.5 anyway. Are you guys happy with this contract, or do you think the Flames should have just moved on? Are you one of those Flames fans that disagree with me and say, hey, you know what? I've seen enough of this guy. I think that we should just move on from him. I am obviously going to completely disagree with you on that. I'm gonna be completely clear with this. I want to be crystal clear that my ceiling when it comes to him was 3.5. I didn't want it a lot higher than 3.5 at 3 years. So I think the Flames probably did budge a little bit with this. Which is okay. I mean, they didn't budge that much. I wanted them closer to 3.5, but 3.775. I mean, it seems that they budged like a tiny, tiny little bit. So again, I'm completely fine with this. It's not a big deal. Let's see what this guy's got, especially with the cap rising, and let's hope he stays healthy as well. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave this video here. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, guys. And make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.